Once upon a time, a fellow named Charles Perrault heard the fairy stories the wee commoners told each other, and he thought to himself, I can use this, and for my own bougie agenda. Thus his fairy tale collection, Histoire ou Conte du Temps Passé, or Mother Goose Tales, was born. Whereupon the name Little Red Riding Hood took the world by storm. Hi, I'm Liz, and this is Into the Hoods, a series where I'm summarizing the history of Little Red Riding Hood tales. My primary source is this amazing book by scholar Jack Sipes, and I'll cite my other sources along the way. But first, let's hear Charles Perrault's take on The Famous Girl with the Scarlet Cloak, written in 1697. Once upon a time, there was just the prettiest girl you ever saw, whose mother and grandmother doted on her. Grandma sewed her a lovely red hood, and the girl never went anywhere without it. Therefore, the townfolk disregarded her Christian name entirely and began calling her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red's mom packed her a basket with cake and butter and told her to bring it to Granny's, for the old woman had fallen ill. Granny lived in a village across the wood, so Little Red began her journey. Along the way, a wolf crossed her path. He would have liked to eat her up then and there, for it had been several days since his last meal. But a bunch of loggers were hanging around, and so he needed to be crafty. He asked Little Red where she was off to and what's in her basket. And that little blockhead blabbed all. I've got cake and butter, and I'm bringing it to Granny, who lives in the first house on the other side of the wood, right next to the old mill. The wolf took mental notes, challenged Little Red to a race there, and beat the pants off her, gobbling up Grandma and taking her place in the bed. When Little Red arrived, she thought Grandma sounded a little hoarse, but the lady was sick, so Red happily hopped in bed with Granny when invited. Big arms, big legs, big ears, big eyes, and big teeth later, Little Red Riding Hood was gobbled up. And that's the end. Except for a little moral Perrault shares telling us girls, especially attractive, well-bred ladies, we should never talk to strangers lest we offer ourselves up as dinner for a wolfish young man. If you caught the last episode of Into the Hoods, you may be wondering, how did Little Red go from such a self-sufficient young lady to this dum-dum dinner in a cape? Well, like most media, fairy tales are often a reflection of the society they are told in. Perrault took the basic plot of the peasant's tale, but re-spun the yarn in the interests of educating young ladies under the mores of the middle class. In other words, shut up, look pretty, and don't behave in a way that's going to get you into trouble. And whoo boy, would this mentality stick around for a damn long time in this fairy tale. Some believe Perrault donned his gal in a red riding hood to imply a sexual deviance. However, while red was falling out of popularity for clothing in Perrault's time, the Fashion Institute of Technology has noted that the association of red with sexual deviance came around a lot later, starting in the Napoleonic era. Maybe Perrault was ahead of his time. Or maybe this association is better affiliated with the dozens of popular twists on Red Riding Hood that would proliferate the 19th century. Perrault is an important figure in fairy tale history. His Mother Goose Tales is credited with popularizing the fairy tale as an important literary genre, for better or for worse. Even though his contemporary Madame Delnoy coined the term fairy tales and published her collection the same year as he did, Perrault cannot be ignored, but I can make fun of him. And I will. The next time we meet, we'll cover the other most popular version of Little Red Riding Hood, written over a century later by the Brothers Grimm. Down the road, we'll look at versions of the tale from beyond the European continent, as well as tales that might be related, might not be related, we'll discuss. I'll see you then for more Into the Hoods.